discussions on new approaches to tackle antimicrobial resistance. So why we have selected means chosen this topic, because it is antimicrobial resistance is not now a longer a distant threat. It is present and growing in the reality. So we know that the effectiveness of many conventional antibiotics, or we can say the existing antibiotics, is declining, and we are increasingly encountering the infections that are difficult to treat now, and sometimes impossible. We can say that impossible to treat. So the purpose of today's roundtable discussion is not simply to present the ideas, but to exchange the perspective, to exchange the questions, existing approaches, and explore the innovative solutions, and from the novel therapeutic like the fast therapy, the antimicrobial peptides, the quorum quenchers, and the advanced tools such as the, we can say that AI-driven drug discovery. So there is the wide spectrum of the possibilities that are emerging in today's science. So I encourage everyone here to effectively participate. I request everyone to actively participate and share your insights from your respective fields and engage in the constructive discussion. So now I would like to open the floor for the discussion now. Thank you everyone for joining today's session. So now I request everyone to share your insights or any your research experience, or if you have any knowledge in this particular topic, now you are free to share your views. So today we are several participants, only the 9. So first we'll start with our introduction. So here BP, I can't see your name here. BP, Dr. Rupa, Faizul Hassan Tarafdar, Harsh Lakhotia, Jerusha Kriti Jagatia. So I request everyone, please unmute yourself and introduce first. Then we'll start the discussion. Please introduce yourself. Hello, BP. It is showing in your list means BP, Dr. Rupa, Faisal Hassan Tarafdar. Just take a few seconds and introduce yourself. Dr. Rupa, Faizul Hassan Tarafdar, Harsh Lakhotia, Jerusha Kirti Jagatia. Sorry. Because our objective that we can make a collaboration or we can know each other by this platform. So please unmute and introduce yourself. Then we'll begin our discussion. And one more participant, Narmada, has joined. Dr. Rupa, Faizul Hassan Tarafdar, Harsh Lakhotia. Hello.
Yeah, good evening, sir. This is Dr. Rupa here.
Good evening, madam.
Yes, sir. I completed my PhD in antimicrobial resistance. I worked on E. coli samples, sir. I'm just here to see the insights, like what all people are doing, like in which front they are working.
That's great, madam.
Thank you, sir. Yeah, thank you, sir.
Faizul Hassan.
Where did you do your PhD, Dr. Rupa?
Sir, I completed my PhD from Gulbarga University under Dr. Vandana Rathod ma'am's guidance.
Wonderful.
Yeah, thank you, sir.
Dr. Rupa, madam, please share your research experience, because this one is the live stream and the recorded session will be shared with everyone. So though many participants may get information from your session.
Either
yes, sir. Yes, sir.
About your work, or you can tell later also.
Sure.
Yes, sir. Basically, I worked on fish samples, sir, from those fish, because I stay in Mumbai, so coastal region, main coastal food is fish. So I focused on the same, and I isolated E. coli samples, and from them, I could fetch the genes. Like I focused on the genes like CTX, SHV, and TEM. These 3 genes mainly I focused. I performed PCR studies on that, and then ERIC PCR also I performed to check the genetic relatedness. And out of 400 samples, around 80 samples were positive for ESBL E. coli. I mean, the main drawback, or say something different results I found, that is the TEM prevalence of TEM in other studies is little less, but around 80% samples were confirmed with TEM genes in my studies. So that was little scary in my studies, basically speaking. So this was all about my studies, sir. Thank you, sir. Sir, one thing I just wanted to tell you, Halami sir, like today I went to MACD basically here. So I found that they have introduced buns which is made out of millets, and
Yes, yes.
it was labeled like in association with CFTR. I felt really very proud of it, sir. Congratulations on that, sir.
Thank you, thank you. Yeah, actually, that is McDonald has purchased the technology millet bun,
Yes, sir.
and that is being commercialized now. So, what are the bun
Yes,
which
sir.
we were using before was used purely by the wheat flour, right? But
Ye-
now the bun
yes,
will be,
sir.
so how, this is how actually we can actually get used to or can consume some millet through this bun.
Yeah, that is. Yeah, and one
Yeah,
more thing is, like, many people are gluten intolerant, no, so that they will
exactly,
also
exactly.
be benefited because of that.
Yes, sir, as you rightly pointed out, consumption of millet has its own advantage. But you know that these
Yes,
are all
true,
our
sir.
fast food, so having a
Hmm,
bacterial contamination is very much common. And in that, if
true, sir.
suppose with the AMR, and AMR now
Hmm,
is
hmm.
there in the food chain also. Most of the bacteria
Yes, it is
found,
there, sir.
yes, yes.
Hmm.
So from a microbiological perspective, one is the safety of the pathogenic or spoilage organism, because these are all our fast food. One is prepared and served
Yes,
after
sir.
2 3 something, right? They are not very, very fresh one.
Yes, true, sir.
Or or the
No,
masala which you never know how contaminated it is. It is not like our
true,
bisi
sir.
bede bhat, curd rice, which you can
Hmm,
consider
hmm.
safe and you can consume. Mm.
Yes, true,
And
sir.
now
Yes,
and
sir.
then what are the raw material which you use there, that will be definitely having the E. coli, ESBL, what you told,
Yes, sir.
or
Yes, sir.
MRSA, or
Yes, sir.
VRE kind of bacteria. VRE is actually very common.
Yes, sir.
Enterococci, and
Yes,
enterococci
yes,
resistance is almost 60 to 70%. Means what, if you have
true,
10
sir.
enterococci isolated from different sources,
Hmm.
6 will definitely have a resistance to vancomycin.
True, sir. These genes are really very prevalent nowadays, sir.
Yes. Now, what you were telling was from what source you told? It is a marine sample, right?
Yes, sir. Fish samples which
Yeah.
people daily consume,
And then that fish is from which
along
source?
with
What
that.
is fresh water, or from the sea
No,
fish?
sir. Coast sea fish, sir. Sea fish. And along with that, I also tested like surrounding environment, the trays they are using, the currency they are exchanging, and many more sources, which I mean they are frequently using, the knife they are cutting with, their
Exactly.
hand
Yeah,
swabs.
yeah. That is what actually. Whatever these accessories are being used, or the environment,
Huh.
processing environment,
Yes, sir.
or should be checked. And then
Yes,
if
sir.
you could compare the fish
Yes, sir.
grown in fresh water and then from the
Hmm.
sea, and you will see definitely different, because a lot of aquaculture now is purely depend on the use of antibiotics as a growth promoter, as a
Yes,
for
sir.
preventing some bacterial diseases. They use directly the
Yes, sir.
antibiotic in water. you know,
Yes,
Especially
sir.
in a
Yes,
prawn
sir. True.
cultivation. If you see,
Yes, sir.
especially this Vijayawada coastal area, a large number of pond or fish cultivation is there, and then they openly use the antibiotics. And then
True,
if you
sir.
take the
True, sir.
sample, maybe you will see a very high level of resistance to most of these antibiotics, like gentamicin is there, streptomycin is there. You know,
Yes, sir.
uh,
Sir, for my, in my studies, 100% samples were resistant to amoxicillin, sir.
yes, you see, challenging.
That is most prevalently we consume, no, sir, amoxicillin every now and then.
Yeah, exactly.
Mhm. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Dr.
Wonderful.
Rupa Alavisans. Faizul Hassan
Thank you, sir.
Tarabdar, please unmute and introduce yourself. Faizul Hassan Tarabdar.
Hello, sir. I'm
Hello.
Fazul. Currently, I'm a master's student. I have joined the session just to get an overview of all this.
Master
Yes.
student in what subject?
I'm pursuing biotechnology. I've done my bachelor's in microbiology.
So,
Yeah, a lot of actually scope.
mm,
Those who are actually the microbiology background and then now pursuing the postgraduate or PhD in biotechnology, because you can actually use the molecular techniques, you can use the omic sciences, you can use the bioinformatics and see what are the major problems through the microbiology which you can see. Either you can actually look for any functional, molecule or bioactive substances or drug discovery through microorganisms using the biotechnological approaches, or you can look for developing a detection tools. That is another, right? Detection tool, especially for in the AMR, in toxins, in detection of some other undesirable substances, like in the fish preservation, they use formaldehyde, you know,
Yes,
or you see aflatoxin is another problem, right? And
yes,
aflatoxin problem only microbiology people can understand.
yes, sir.
Mm.
so Mr. Faizul Hassan, if you have any query, then you may ask now to our expert Dr. Rupa Madam is here or Dr. Prakash Salami sir is here. If you have any query
Okay.
regarding this topic.
No, sir, nothing particularly for now.
Okay, okay, thank you, Faizul.
Fine.
Harsh Lakhotia, Harsh Lakhotia, please unmute and just introduce yourself. If you're a student, Jerusa, Kirti Jagatia, Narmada, if you have any hesitation to unmute yourself, you may write your name and your institution in the chat box also. Narmada, yes, Narmada.
Hello, sir.
Hello.
Myself, Dr. Narmada. I have
Mm-hmm.
completed my PhD from Gulbarga University in microbiology, and I have worked on the isolation and characterization of the bacteriocins. Those are the antimicrobial peptides.
Which one you said? Can you tell once again?
Antimicrobial peptides,
From what
bacteriocins,
source?
from
Very
lactic
good.
acid bacteria.
Mm-hmm.
I have characterized them. I have analyzed their structural characterization, and also some of the bioinformatic work I have done, and I also have checked the antimicrobial capacity of those antimicrobial peptides against these MRSA, MDR strains, also on the VRSA and the CRPA pathogens, even on the some of the ESPL strains also I have checked on it. So I have got good results against these multi-drug resistant pathogens. This was my
Who
PhD. This
was,
was my PhD work.
who was your guide?
Professor Vandana Rathod.
Same with like Dr. Rupa, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Wonderful.
Thank you.
So to add to Narmada, we both are lab mates actually.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
isolates which are isolated, no E. coli samples, like they were the most resistant samples I isolated. Only they were sensitive to two antibiotics. That is
Exactly.
last resort antibiotics. But the bacteriocins which Narmada has isolated, na, those
Hmm.
bacteriocins were, I mean, they were able to kill all my pathogenic E. coli, which I isolated, and it showed very good zones. They were all sensitive to the bacteriocins which she has isolated, sir.
A very important observation. This is what actually the focus of this discussion is: new antimicrobials to tackle AMR.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
They
Yes,
are
sir. She has worked on it, sir.
alternative to the traditional antibiotics. So whatever you both of you
Yes,
has
sir.
done is very catchy and to the point. You know,
Yes,
Actually,
sir.
I
these
have
are the and these antimicrobial peptides are very low molecular weight and very short amino acid ones, sir.
ಗೊತ್ತಾಯ್ತು ಗೊತ್ತಾಯ್ತು ಕನ್ನಡ ಗೊತ್ತಾ
ಹಾ ಸರ್ ಬರುತ್ತೆ ಸರ್ ಹಾ ಬರುತ್ತೆ
very good.
ಹಾ ಸರ್
So both of your work is very important and very useful for
ಎಕ್ಸಾಕ್ಟ್ಲಿ
this
ಸರ್
roundtable discussion.
Yes, sir.
ಎಸ್
Yes,
ಸರ್
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
you people should be the lead speaker for this session, answering all the possible questions. Very useful
ಶೋರ್ ಸರ್
information.
ಶೋರ್ ಸರ್
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
ಥ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಯು ಸರ್
तिवारी जी, तिवारी जी, आर यू देयर?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
हाँ, कहीं गायब नहीं होना है.
No, no. My name is Jagita Kriti and I am studying in the Gandhinagar University. I am a macro assistant SEM 4. So Jagita, if you have any query, you may ask now. Now the few more participants have joined. Sarthak, Bharat Andale, Binay Krishna Sahu. Please unmute and introduce yourself first. Binay Krishna Sahu. Hello. And one more name is the Ondril Das. Ondril Das. Dear students and research scholar, if you have any question, you may put in the chat box. Ondril Das, just unmute and introduce yourself. Faizul Harsal Akhotia, Jerusa. Okay. So now I would like to request our Dr. Prakash Salami sir to share his experience or research insights on this topic, sir. Hello. Are you
Exactly,
there,
exactly.
sir? Yes, sir.
Yes, of course. I am very much there, but if any other participants want to share, or we can have first my
Sure, sir. That's why
this
I'm
briefing
asking.
so that we can take few questions if the participant has
Koindril
what
Das, Narmada.
this.
Narmada has already
Yeah,
introduced us.
yeah, everyone knows about the superbug, right? In 2007, that was actually immersed carbapenem resistant bacteria, and because the carbapenem was the next generation antibiotics of a ampicillin group or penicillin group, and then they could see that the several microorganism bacteria associated with nosocomial infection was resistant to carbapenem, just like beta-lactam. You know, similarly, the bacteria E. coli, Pseudomonas, then a few more other gram-negative bacteria were found to be the resistant for these antibiotics. And India was considered as a hotspot for the antimicrobials. And then we could actually see that the antibiotics being used beside the clinical setting for treating the diseases or bacterial infection. Subsequently, it has been very commonly used in animal husbandry as a growth promoter as well as prophylaxis, prevention of the diseases. And then subsequently, they understood that antibiotics, especially in lower doses, can be actually helpful as a growth promoter. And then they used very commonly in a poultry, and then fish, aquaculture, you know. So this actually becomes the problem not only in the health setup or clinical setting, but in the environment. and in the food production also. So all these three setup are now heavily contaminated with the resistant bacteria, because once you use the antibiotics, it actually helps to develop the resistance. Why? It activates the antibiotic resistant genes. Second, it kills the sensitive bacteria and allows the resistant bacteria to grow. That means what we do, we are actually encouraging more resistant bacteria in the nature, and that's why 2018, 17 and 18, India actually formulated guidelines, what we call the National Action Plan for Antimicrobial Resistance. How the antibiotics can be used minimum. But then, whatever the resistant bacteria are there, they are going to spread those resistant, even in the gastrointestinal tract, in the food chain, in the environmental setting, in the hospital setting. And that's why now what we have to do is we have to how we can actually minimize those antimicrobial resistant bacteria. How we can suppress, because I told that you use the antibiotics, you are allowing to grow more antibiotic resistant bacteria. And as most of the participants are from microbiology, you have suppose the plasmid transformed E. coli and you select any ampicillin plate, suppose, you know, you get only the ampicillin resistant bacteria. Means what you are doing, you are actually killing the sensitive bacteria or the bacteria which do not have antibiotic resistance. So similar phenomena actually is happening in the environment, right? So how we can kill or control or minimize this antimicrobial resistance? So one is the phage therapy, or in other words, before I go to the phage therapy, what are the alternatives are there to minimize the antimicrobial resistance? So not to use the traditional antibiotics, alternatives to the traditional antibiotics. So we have to actually look other than the antibiotics. Yes, you can actually kill by other antibiotics. Like suppose ampicillin resistant bacteria is there, you can use the kanamycin or gentamicin or chloramphenicol or any other antibiotics. But here the question is not that. Question is other than antibiotics. Okay. So I hope that the aim is very clear. Other than antibiotics, we have to actually explore. So one is the phage therapy. What is the phage therapy? Everyone knows that bacteriophages are very specific to the host, right? So you use such bacteriophages which will actually kill this resistant bacteria. Very simple. You have to isolate, characterize, and then develop the phage therapy. Next one is the antimicrobial peptides. As Dr. Narmada and Rupa very nicely they have explained and then showed a positive results from their PhD finding at Gulbarga University. So that is another method, because most of this microorganism bacteria they produces antimicrobial substances like bacteriosis, and we don't see much higher level of resistance to that. So you use such antimicrobial peptides. In the recent past, people are actually trying to make the CRISPR-Cas gene editing. You change those sequences which are actually associated with developing the resistance. And everyone knows that CRISPR-Cas9, we had the several session on this issue, roundtable discussion, that how CRISPR-Cas9 is useful and can be used for developing a different useful cultures. The last and then very recent one is the AI-driven drug discovery. How this artificial intelligence is going to help you? You can actually, from the large number of the data set, you can screen and characterize, you analyze those data and then see how your new molecules can be more effective. From the food sources, from plant sources, or microbial derived one, fermentation broth, you can actually have a such molecule and then see how it can be utilized. So in the recent past, even the nanotechnology, nanoparticles also being used. Nanotechnology as such helps to deliver the antimicrobial substances directly in the infection site. So that is another approach, right? Immunotherapy, you can actually use the monoclonal antibodies to boost the immune system, and then to
Hello.
naturally kills the pathogenic bacteria, which has the antimicrobial resistance. And this is actually very much valid in antibiotic resistance in animal husbandry, because they use actually the herbal formulation to boost the immune system of the animals. So what that is going to do, once the immune system is activated, that means the pathogenic bacteria which has a antibiotic resistance genes will be depleted. Vaccination, another method, right? Well, then one health approach. What is the meaning of one health approach? Is this is actually very common now. That your all the ecosystem, the environment, the food, and then health setting, clinical setting. We should not use the same antibiotics. The antibiotics which is used for the treating the deadly diseases in humans should not be used as a growth promoters or in the aquaculture, or in the food production. You know. So one health approach is another important, where we can actually see that resistance developed should not go in the environment. It should not come in the food chain. You know, it should be actually ensure that this resistance which is found in the clinical setting, because those bacteria only comes in the environment. Once it comes to the environment, then it comes to the food chain, right? And then our total gut microbiota is getting contaminated. It is developing a resistance, and then it becomes very ineffective to treat. So that's why antimicrobial resistance is actually going to be a major problem in treating several of the diseases, and will be one major issue to treat any infectious diseases by 2050. Right now, I believe some people die up to 1 million, you know. 10 lakhs people are dying because of the AMR, and that this is going to become a, by 2050, almost 5 times more, it is going to increase. If you see the AMR, especially with reference to the VRE, vancomycin resistant, 60 or 70% bacteria, enterococci, are resistant to vancomycin. MRSA, which is more very common, methicillin resistant Staphylococcus aureus, 70 or 80%. And the Staphylococcus aureus is very much associated with our skin infection, nosocomial infection, surfaces, you know. Then you have the several type of resistant in mycobacterium, the excessive drug resistant, multiple drug resistance. We will see all sort of drug resistant in a mycobacterium. The TB becomes very, very ineffective to treat with any of these antibiotics because of the drug resistance, right? But we have actually some lead available with reference to even the mycobacterium also from this, what Dr. Narmada and Dr. Rupa was telling, the antimicrobial peptide from Bacillus, Those who are associated with research, they can just see the lasopeptide, which we have discovered in our lab, is very effective against mycobacterium, mycoids. Similarly, the bacteriocin from the Bacillus licheniformis, we have exclusively checked against drug-resistant lactic acid bacteria. Okay. So I'll be actually very happy to answer any specific questions from the participants. I will stop here, and then we can go to the other participants to know their view also. Thank you.
So, sir, thank you so much, sir, for sharing your research
Dr.
insight.
Narmada has made some
Yeah,
comments,
Hmm.
so you can go through that.
I could also want to add one more thing. The bacteriocin, which I have formulated, I subjected for nanoparticle synthesis that nanoparticles capped bacteriocin have increased the zone of inhibition against MDR, Staphylococcus aureus, and CRPA pathogens.
Very good.
So if you have any question, you may put in the chat box also. So Dr. Halamis has rightly said that now we have to think for the innovative approach or some novel approach, because this the emergence of antibiotic resistance. So this one is the evolutionary process. This one is not the new phenomenon. The resistant genes have been present in the bacteria for the last millions of years. So now we have to think that how to minimize the dose of antibiotics. So we can also think for the synergistic activity of antibiotic and some other alternative approaches. One is the fast therapy, already sir has mentioned. So if you have any query on this topic, you may ask now. The another one is the antivirulence therapy, in which we target the
Yeah,
virulence.
just to add, as I told that it will be somewhere like, no, now right now it is somewhere nearly 2 millions people are dying because of AMR,
Sure,
and
sir.
this will be
Hmm.
40 millions by 2050. So you
Yes,
can
sir.
actually
And
see
this one
also
is this report means from the WHO.
exactly this.
Hmm.
In fact,
And
I
also
was
in the
associated with the WHO's activities on the AMR for
hmm.
design the national action plan. And then Tiwari ji should actually tell that what is the MBSI role with relation to the AMR. Because in
Yes,
a few days from now, we will have that session on the AMR.
yes, sir. In the last month, MBSI has also conducted one research paper competition, means best paper
Exactly.
competition. So more than 15 means research papers have been submitted for the competition, both the review articles and the research article. And in the coming 11th April, we are going to conduct one webinar on this topic. Means AMR concern mainly in the India, its impact and challenges. And on the 11th, we will also felicitate the winners of the AMR based paper competition. So, but our
When that result will
honorable
be known,
on 11th, sir.
you are going to tell the last moment only.
Pardon, sir? No, means
Ye-
felicitation will be on 11th. Dr.
Yes.
Subroto Hati sir will share the results with the participants
Okay, okay.
by mail.
Oh, wonderful.
So our MBSI means All India President Dr. A.M. Deshmukh sir has taken one initiative to dedicate this year 2026 for means for the activity based on AMR, and that's why we are conducting the several sessions and the AMR based paper competition and the event throughout the India based on this AMR topic. So dear students and research scholars, if you have any query, you can put in the chat box or you can unmute yourself. So my one question to you, sir, Prakash, Dr. Halami, sir.
Yes.
Sir, is there any means success means clinical trial of the phage therapy in our country, sir? Clinical
Experiment
trial
actually, research work is being done even in CFTRI, but they are only
Mhm.
the in vitro studies.
In vitro.
Clinical trial, no. Right now, as far as my knowledge is concerned, we do not
Mhm.
have such information.
Yes,
But I
sir.
am sure I think the days to come will open up, because
Mhm.
now that is only the alternative,
Yes, sir.
and can actually help to solve this question, right?
Because ultimately,
Otherwise,
what we will use, sir, in alternatives to antibiotic.
ah,
Antibiotics is critical for the treatment, and for the clearance of the pathogen from the host, antibiotics will be required. So
clearance
only
of the
by
pathogen, no,
using
it is going to kill the pathogen only, no?
phage therapy, sir. But
Phage
whatever the
therapy.
other, phage
Phage is,
therapy.
phage is affecting only those specific bacteria which
Yes, sir.
are
Yes.
actually resistant to antibiotics.
Sure, sir.
Yes. So
But
it
in case
really
of the
requires
quorum
a very,
sensing inhibitors, quorum quenchers,
even that also.
if
So if your pathogenic resistant bacteria
mm-hmm,
has that quorum sensing no, mechanism, then
mm-hmm,
they possible to even to do that also.
sure, sir.
Yes.
And what is the future of means AI, sir? How the AI can help us in discovery of the new
Yeah, because what
antimicrobial?
happened is now, no, we have a large data set, right?
Yes, sir.
Now in this discussion, output of this is 7, 8, or 10 people. At least two
Mm-hmm,
research scholars, they worked on this area. My
mm-hmm,
laboratory worked at least 10 to 15 years on the AMR input chain.
mm-hmm,
So we have a large data set to analyze further. Use our this data, compare, and then see how effective molecules are, right?
mm-hmm,
What Dr. Narmada told that she has some lead molecule which are actually effective, you know. So looking their structure, whether such kind of information is identified before, and then comparing and then developing a drug. first, rather than doing a trial or error or spending more time on the bench work. You can actually analyze those data. Then you can actually look the structural conformations, because AI, this is what actually is going to help us in a larger way. In the bioinformatics tool, we can actually change the conformation or the 3D structures and then try to identify or make out that on this molecule the possibility of developing resistance will be very less. You know,
Yes, sir.
such a few molecules are identified which are very specific to some target, and that can be answered through the AI tools. So this will actually at least will tell that such a resistance development is not possible. Why the resistance development happens? Because of that site space modification, methylations, target modification, right? Efflux pumps. uh, So one such mechanism, if it is identified, it will be easier to develop a newer drug. Now you will see most of this resistance, what we are seeing, is on the cell wall, right? Or the protein synthesis. Protein synthesis is the major one. If we if we see in the mycobacterium, it is more on the RNA biosynthesis mechanism, right? Like rifampicin, which is a commonly used antibiotics for the treating mycobacterium. So inhibits the RNA biosynthesis, the sigma factor, and, or the streptomycin, the this one ribosome assembling. You know. So once we know such target, then looking the alternative target, which AIM will do before you perform the experiment. So evening you can actually plan the experiment, and morning you can tell the student. By evening or next day, you have the result in your hand. So in other words, you need not to be spending months together or years together to struggle to identify. And then after doing all this work, you never know whether your molecule will be really useful for commercialization or not, right? So that information actually you will be able to make out in the initially only. Just like having the railway reservation online, because we know at home only whether the ticket availability is there or not. But 15-20 years back, when internet was not there, we had to go to the platform or the reservation booking counter, and then only we will know, right? So like this way, we have now the much more better sophisticated tools to answer this. I hope I have answered your question.
Yes, sir. Thank you
Wonderful.
so much, sir. And as you have the vast experience in this field, sir, I just would like to know your opinion, sir. So, what is the most critical challenge in Indian scenario that for the means emergence of more antimicrobial resistant systems or
Convincing people.
controlling in this antimicrobial resistance?
Convincing people, convincing society. This is most like handling the garbage in the cities, right?
Okay.
You see the pollution, plastic pollutions, the garbages in city. It is not that people they don't know, they are not educated, but then convincing is a challenge,
Yes,
right?
sir.
So similarly for the antibiotics, actually what happens when people came to know, especially this poultry farmer, are meat producing animals, they just started using, because they are not worried what the antibiotic resistance is going to do. They want the
Yes.
net profit, you know. So antibiotics feed the birds, they grow within 7 or 8 weeks. Without antibiotics, longer time, you know. The which are fed with the antibiotics, you will get suppose 2 kg or 3 kg meat. Normal will be struggling only for half kg only, you know. And then when any customer goes, he want buy the kg only, no?
Yes, sir.
He is not worried what is the age or whether he is with antibiotics or without antibiotics.
Yes, sir.
So that is the challenge.
Sir, one question from the Wendell Das.
Uh-huh.
What is the probability of developing phage resistance along with antibiotic resistance?
Not phage resistant. Okay, that whether it will be a resistant to phage or not.
Yes, sir.
Hmm.
Probability,
No.
sir.
See, we will be actually selecting the bacteria which are actually being infected by the phages only, right? So we really don't see that. In our initial screening only, we make sure that the phage which is selected is a lytic, not a lysogenic, right? That it kills the pathogen, you know. So
Yes, sir.
you use such fuzz, then you see the more sense space, whether it is specific or not against your target. That is actually the challenge. Otherwise, what you told initially, it will kill the other microflora also. If you use in the gut microflora, it may kill the our probiotics bacteria also, gut microbiota also.
Yes, sir.
So that will be dangerous, right?
Yes, sir.
So the selectivity and specificity is more important in this case.
Yes, sir.
Exactly.
And also for resistance, means in bacterial, the fast resistance means there must be the restriction endonuclease in the bacteria that can. Okay,
No,
thank you,
that
sir.
is actually for the resistant one.
Resistance
You
one,
know,
sir.
yeah, this is how actually the restriction in endonucleases are identified. No, E.
Yes, sir.
coli came well,
Mm-hmm.
where the two phases were when they infected. No,
Mm-hmm.
they found that one phase actually can make the lytic and another goes in lysogenic. What is the reason? And this is
Yes.
how the restriction enzyme has been identified. Mm. So we are going actually here with the lytic phase, not the lysogenic one.
Mm-hmm.
I hope it is a convincing.
Yes, sir. Now it is. So, if you have any more question, you may put in chat box. Dr. Rupa, madam, if you have anything more to share, you may share now. Dr. Rupa, madam, because there are two or
Yes,
three
sir.
questions in the chat box.
Uh, sorry, I'll just go through it, sir.
Okay. One question was based on the probability of developing the phage resistance and
Yeah, that
Very
sir
less.
has answered now.
mhm.
Developing a resistance to phage is very less.
very, very unlikely, sir, there will be the.
Unlikely, yes.
Mm.
Sir,
Yes,
there is a
madam.
question from my end. Yes, sir.
Mm-hmm.
Sir, nowadays, like people are more aware about the lactic acid bacteria, or say probiotics, basically pro plus
Yes.
prebiotics, and commercially they are available on the counter right away. So people are consuming it just to modify their increase their immunity, or say modify the microbiome. I mean, what might be the impact? It is little diverting. I'm little diverting from AMR, sir. I'm sorry for that. But as sir is there, Halami sir is there, so just wanted this
Mm-hmm.
answer.
Very important. Probiotic safety, evaluation of a probiotic safety is a very important
Yes, sir.
concern. And
Yes, sir.
European Food Safety Authority, as well as the FDA, Food and Drug Administration, has actually issued a guidelines that the
Yes, sir.
biosafety of the probiotic starter culture has to be strictly evaluated. Otherwise, the most of these
Mm-hmm.
antibiotic resistant genes which they are having
Mm-hmm.
can be a challenge. They can transmit those antibiotic resistances to pathogenic bacteria which are sensitive to antibiotics, and they will become a resistant next day. And then you have a double problem. One is the
Yes.
virulence problem, and another is the antibiotic resistant
Uh,
problem, right?
yes,
And
sir.
this is actually
Mm-hmm.
happen even with reference to the starter culture, because in most of the starter culture which people are using, we don't use in US, India. But if you see in the sausage
Mm-hmm.
preparation for fermentation, they use the starter culture. And if that
Yes, sir.
starter culture is antibiotic resistant, you know, you
Mm.
use just culture for a
Yes.
curd making, it is antibiotic resistant. And next day you are consuming,
Mm.
grams of
Mm-hmm.
a means what you are actually consuming, the high dose of the antibiotic resistant lactic acid bacteria, right?
True, sir.
And then you can see
Mm.
that it is a transmissible antibiotic resistant, what will happen in a month time or something, you know. So this is actually a major concern
Yes,
now.
sir.
Transmissible antibiotic
Yes, sir.
resistance is
Mm-hmm.
highly undesirable, especially in probiotics and starter culture, where now strict
Right, sir.
regulation is going to be enforced from the biosafety
Mhm.
perspective. Yes,
True, sir.
exactly.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
So now we come to the end of today's session. So is there any question now? So
Dr. Narmada, I think Dr. Rupaya Narmada, we should invite Professor Tiwari during that AMR event.
yes, sir, sure.
है ना?
So it is
Yeah,
already
because
shared in all groups. I request Dr. Rupa and Dr. Narmada madam to join the session on
exactly,
11.
exactly.
It is shared in the all
Surely,
WhatsApp
sir.
group.
I just have filled the form also, sir.
Sure, sure. Thank you
Wonderful.
so much, madam.
Because we should have the participant, those who has the practical experience,
Yes, sir.
So that would be actually really useful. So at 57 now, we can close the session.
So thank you everyone for sharing your research insights for making this session very meaningful and thoughtful. And my special thanks to Dr. Halami sir, Dr. Rupa madam, and Narmada madam for sharing their research experience and the research insight. So thank you to everyone for joining today's session.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, sir. Good night, everyone.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Halami, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
So please join the session on 11th April. It will
Yes.
start from the 7:30.
Yes.
And it
Thank
is
you.
already
Surely, sir.
scheduled. Yeah, sure. Thank you so much.
Yeah.